So, welcome to the session. We are beginning the chapter which is titled The Astral or Desire Body. I think in the PDF, the title is, I think, only the astral body. Correct? Anybody using the PDF? Anyway, so the chapter is The Astral or Desire Body. On the PDF, it is on page. Now, in the PDF, there are two page numbers. There is the page number of the PDF, and there is the page number printed on the PDF. So the printed page number is 35. On the PDF, the page number is 39. All right. And on the book, this is page number 46. So here now, we are now beginning or starting a new chapter, so to speak, where so far we were talking about the physical body. Now we are going to talk about the astral body. And why is this being said the desire body? You see, the reason for that, as my understanding goes, the reason for that is that this astral body is our body of emotions. We express ourselves through emotions. So you, the soul, I, the soul, we express ourselves at many levels. Earlier, we were studying about how we express ourselves through the physical and etheric bodies. Now we are going to talk about the astral body. This is where our emotions, our expression through emotions happen. For example, I feel love. So I, the soul, am expressing love. How the vehicle for that is the astral or the emotional body. So when we call it the emotional body, I think that is a better word. But anyway, they are using the word astral. And why is she calling it, Annie Besant calling it the desire body? Because desire is the most common human emotion. I want this, mujhe ye chahiye, ye chahiye. We are always desiring for things. And these are usually also the most common, I'm sorry, the strongest emotions. Our strongest emotions tend to be focused on desires. When you really want something, it can get really very powerful. And that is why in Sanskrit they use the term kammaya kosha. So when we say emotional body, the body that contains all the emotions, lower emotions, higher emotions, desires, but also the higher emotions like love and generosity and compassion and so on. So that the word we can use for that is emotional body, or in Sanskrit we will call it the manomaya kosh. Now, the lower part of that, the lower planes, like we saw at the physical body, lower three planes were the physical, liquid, and gaseous. And up above that were the etheric planes. Similarly, here we can think about two subdivisions: lower astral, higher astral, or lower emotional, higher emotional. And the lower emotional, which is where most of humanity is kind of expressing themselves, is the desires. And if you are also a reader of, let's say, the Bhagavad Gita or other spiritual texts, you will find that there is a lot of even Buddhism, actually, there is a lot of importance given to overcoming attachments. And attachments, the starting point of attachments are desires. We desire something, so that is where an attachment is formed. So because the attachments, all the attachments, all our desires, they actually stop or impede or at least slow down our spiritual development. Okay, let me stop lecturing you. Let's read. So we are on page 46 of the book and page 35 of the PDF. Now I won't read on the first page. I'll just give us sort of a quick summary here. What Madam Besant is telling us is that each body, whether physical, astral, later we'll talk about the mental body and so on, they impose limitations on she calls it the real man. Real man meaning the Atma or the Paramatma, the higher soul or the divine spark. The denser the body, the more it's limiting action. So the physical body, the grossest physical body, that has the most limiting. It's sort of, what is it limiting? It is limiting the expression of the soul. So the soul tries to express itself through the various bodies. The higher, that means the more subtle the body, the greater it enables that expression. The denser the body, the more it limits. Further, what she's saying is that imperfections in the body, these bodies are made up of matter, they are not perfect. There are imperfections. Like, for example, in the physical body, somebody may be born, for example, without sight, may be born blind, or somebody may be born with a malfunctioning or a missing limb. People are born like that. So these are imperfections of that particular body. Now, those imperfections further limit the expression of the real man, that is the soul or the divine spark, through that body. Yeah. Now, one more concept that she introduces here is she uses the term ring pass knot. Can you see that? Ring pass knot, forming a veritable ring pass knot around him. Now, ring pass knot is a term you will only see in theosophy or spiritual literature. Essentially, each body is matter which has been energized. Now, since it is energized, it tends to form an energy field. But the field is limited. It is not, it is finite, it is not infinite, because there is a shape to it. So there is always a boundary. So this boundary where that energy field stops, that is what we call the ring pass knot. So for example, in the gross physical body, the visible physical body is the ring pass knot. But when you talk about the etheric body, then as pranic healers, we scan. You remember, for example, you're scanning the inner aura. So now the inner aura is the ring pass knot of the inner aura. I mean, what you're scanning is the boundary. So where the influence of that particular body ends, उसकी जो energy field है, the energy field of that body, up to where does it extend? All right. Okay, let's go to page 47 in the book, the last part. But in the PDF, this is page 35 or 39. On the PDF, page number 39, but printed page number 35 in the PDF. What he can show of himself. Can you see that section? What he can show of himself down here is limited by the physical body. What he can show of himself in the astral world is limited by the astral body. So, as we rise to higher worlds in our study, we shall find that more and more the man is able to express itself. Now, why itself? Why not himself? Because they are using the word man in a non-gender specific. I mean, man here means the soul or the true, the soul or the divine spark. It doesn't mean the male person. Sorry, where was I? As the man is able to express itself as he himself evolves. Some confusion. Now she's saying he evolves and gradually brings to perfection higher and higher vehicles of consciousness. Now, the point here is, I think we've really talked about this. What I want to remind you is that this is a great teaching we have got from Master Choa Kok Sui, or through the school of Pranic Healing or Hatha Yoga, and of course Theosophy also, that evolution is not limited only to the soul. Even matter, which for example, our bodies, our evolutionary process, our divine plan involves the evolution of the matter of the bodies also. And that is what she is talking about, that this, as we are able to evolve, so as the man meaning the soul evolves, even the bodies evolve. One is not possible without the other. All right. And that is why this book holds importance, because we are going to learn here how, our spiritual development is related also to the development of the bodies, the evolution of the bodies. All right, let's go forward. Now on the printed book, page 48, this is page 36 in the PDF, the printed page number 36 on the PDF. The astral world is a definite region of the universe surrounding and interpenetrating the physical, although imperceptible to our ordinary observation because it is composed of a different order of matter. Different order of matter meaning, what should I say, grade or quality, or, in our case, we are aware of the different levels of consciousness. So a different level of consciousness, that's what is being talked about here. That because the astral, now, so what the important point she's introducing is that the astral matter interpenetrates the physical matter. Because you see, it's something like this. You take a, let's say, some vessel, okay, and you put pebbles or stones in it, and then you put a lot of sand in it, and then you shake the whole thing. Now you will find that the sand, the stones or the pebbles, they will become, the sand will go all around the pebbles. Are you understanding? Matlab, so it's something like that. The finer matter tends to get in between the grosser particles. You see, think of, as we are going on this plane. Can you see my pointer? As we go to the next plane, the particles, they are all matter, but the particles are getting smaller and smaller. Now, physical particles, for example, big. Now, these smaller particles will interpenetrate in the space between the physical particles. Something like that. That is what the point that I think she's making. Now, before that, one paragraph I missed. Essentially, there, Madam Annie Besant is showing her humility. She's saying, well, what I'm telling you, it is subject to imperfections. There can be errors. So we should keep it in mind, not take, what she's saying as the gospel truth. Ki, haan, ye to sahi hai, and then have fights with other people. No, Annie Besant said this. It's okay. She's explaining something. She's sharing her observations, her understanding, and she's saying that there can be imperfections, there can be errors. All right, let's go to the next page on the physical book. This is page 37 in the PDF. In the same way, we have 7 substates of astral matter corresponding to the physical, and under these may be classified the innumerable combinations making up the astral world. Right? So this is what she's talking about. So like there were 7 subplanes here, there are 7 subplanes here. And, of course, each plane is made up of matter of that grade. So physical plane was made up of matter of physical grade. Now astral material of particles of astral grade. ठीक है जी? And as I explained, as we are going up each plane, the particles are getting smaller and smaller. Actually, there is a whole theory about this, which maybe we'll discuss some time. I'll actually find diagrams and then so that it's easier to understand. So in the footnote, there is this discussion that, this why the word astral came up, because, clairvoyants observed this and they found that in comparison to, let's say, the etheric plane, this looks a little starry. Just, you in the night sky, you see the stars. So it looks luminous. है ना, थोड़ा सा उसमें हल्की हल्की रोशनी, there are specks of light all over. So that's why they gave the name astral. And she's so she's just clarifying that. So she's saying it's not a happy choice, but anyway, historically, that is what it is being used. So I think Master has done a much better thing. He's used the word emotional body. All right. Now, in the next 2 or 3 pages, she is explaining that the astral matter interpenetrates and mirrors the physical matter. So, like there is the physical body, and then we saw there is the etheric double. Now, apparently, there is an astral double also. And if the physical body is removed, then, and to somebody who has astral sight, a clairvoyant, he or she will see the astral body like kind of a replica of the physical and etheric bodies. And here she is introducing a concept of something called jiva, which she explains is something like prana, but a higher form of energy. It is actually jiva, she is explaining as the source of all energies, even electrical energy, magnetic energy, and so on and so forth. And like the etheric body is the vehicle for prana, this astral body, she's saying, is the vehicle for jiva. Now, this is something that Master Choa has not discussed. So I don't know how much we should give credence to this. But, she's explained it quite explicitly. So one can perhaps, just go by what she's saying. Right? And then she's also explaining that very few people can actually have astral sight. Very few clairvoyants are there, and people who have just developed the clairvoyance or who have low developed clairvoyance, they are likely to make mistakes. They will see things on the astral plane, but they can very easily be mistaken. All right, let's now on the book come to page 52. This is page 38 on the PDF. It is not desirable to force this development by artificial means. What development? The ability to see the astral plane or see objects on the astral plane. It is not desirable to force this development. That means what she's saying is don't force yourself to develop astral sight by artificial means. Now, what are artificial means? Sometimes it happens by birth. And basically, how Master has explained, it involves damaging the protective web around the chakras, especially the chakras related to the sight. For example, to the senses. So, clairaudience, people are able to hear things that other people are not hearing because the protective web around their hearing facility is damaged. Or they see things that other people are not seeing, although they are not spiritually developed, because their protective web is damaged, which is related to on the chakras related to sight. And through tantric practices, through drugs, one can achieve that result. But she's saying not a great idea. So that's what she's saying. For until some amount of physical strength has been evolved, the physical world is about as much as can conveniently be managed. And the intrusion of astral sights, sounds, and general phenomena is apt to be disturbing and even alarming. So people whose clairvoyance has been prematurely developed, they have a lot of problems. And I refer you to the Pranic Psychotherapy book. Their master has discussed this 2 or 3 times. The problems that are related to, because what happens is you are not spiritually developed. Now the protective web is damaged. You are going to attract elementals. What kind of elementals will you attract? Those that are attracted to the energy in your system. So if you have low emotions, you will attract those kind of elementals. You have unwholesome thoughts, you are going to attract elementals that feed on that energy. And they can give you very uncomfortable visions and things like that. Okay, shall we go on now? Page 53. Here now we are going to talk about the meaning or the purpose of astral development. Yeah, that it is for the functioning of the astral body, the soul in the astral plane. You see, usually for undeveloped people, people whose astral bodies are not developed and whose soul has not learned to function through the astral plane. The soul operates at the astral plane only through the physical plane or the physical body. All right, so let's see what Madam Besant has to say. For this, it is necessary not only to have an astral body, as all of us have, but to have it fully organized and in working order. The consciousness being accustomed to act in it, not only to act through it on the physical body. Right? And I'll just skip the next sentence, then we go on. Without the general action through the astral body, there would be no connection between the external world and the mind of man. No connection between impacts made on the physical senses and the perception of them by the mind. The impact becomes a sensation in the astral body and is then perceived by the mind. Now, this is her how she is explaining the the minute to minute, day to day function of the astral body. It is to pick up things that the physical senses are perceiving. For example, your eye is seeing something, but for it to make sense, it has to go up to the mental plane. Now, how will it go to the mental plane? The It is interpreted or it is processed by the astral body and passed on to the mental plane. Then then it hits your sort of your waking consciousness. So before that, the part that I read, where she was saying that if we are able to organize and control and develop our astral body, our consciousness, that is you, the soul, can act purely through the astral plane. Then you don't need to go through the physical plane. Okay, shall we go forward? In the book, I'll come to the next page. This is page 54. In the PDF, this is page 39. Am I going too fast? Are you able to keep track with me? A thumbs up or something would be very helpful. Yes, all right. Thank you. All right. Great, great, Tushar and Shobhaji. Thank you. Okay, page. So, as to the constitution of the astral body, can you see where I am? As to the constitution of the astral body, it is made up of the 7 sub-states of astral matter and may have coarser, coarser meaning denser or heavier, or finer materials drawn from each of these. So each level, so we said, okay, this is the astral plane. Now in the astral plane, there are several subplanes. In each subplane also, there is the choice of denser particles or lighter particles. It is easy to picture a man in a well-formed astral body. You can think of him dropping the physical body and standing up in a subtler, more luminous copy of it, visible in his own likeness to clairvoyant vision, though invisible to ordinary sight. So clairvoyants are able to see like that. I said a well formed astral body. For an undeveloped person in his astral body presents a very inchoate. Inchoate means underdeveloped or very, vague appearance. Its outline is undefined, its materials are dull and ill arranged, and if withdrawn from the body, it is a mere shapeless, shifting cloud, unfit to act as an independent vehicle. So here she is talking about somebody whose development is very, very low. Almost like a animalistic sort of person, somebody who has had very little refinement. Essentially, a person like this is focused purely on survival, and the lower chakras dominate. Khao, have food, take care of the body and procreate. That's more or less the, extent of that person's interest. Now, may I refer you to some additional reading? There is a very nice book, Man Visible Invisible by C.W. Leadbeater. Man Visible Invisible. Now, there he was a great Mr. Leadbeater was a great, or Bishop Leadbeater was a great clairvoyant, and Master has also talked about his clairvoyance and taking help from his clairvoyance. In many, so in that book, he has explained for each body, each subtle body, as we develop, how that body changes. And because he's made it very visual, you have images for each stage of development, it makes a lot of sense. And suddenly what happens to you when you develop, wo bada real, it becomes very real. It is not just conceptual or theoretical. Now you can see, oh, this is what, and somebody like who has developed this ability, this is, or this quality, this is what it looks like. Even though I don't know if any of you have clairvoyance, I'm not. So, to me, that's a great help, because it really explained to me, or, sort of verified, or, confirmed to me that as we progress, there are real, tangible changes in our various bodies. Yeah. A well formed astral body means that a man has reached a fairly high level of intellectual culture or spiritual growth, so that the appearance of the astral body is significant of the progress made by its owner. The owner, of course, is the soul. By the definiteness of its outline, the luminosity of its materials, and the perfection of its organization, one may judge the stage of evolution reached by the ego using it. Ego word, always remember, in Theosophy, it is referring not to, ego, pride, and all that, but to the higher soul. Okay. So, very clear definition. And again, I may refer you, man, visible, invisible. Actually, the diagrams you can probably find just by Googling them. Just say images from man, visible, invisible, Leadbeater, and you will see a lot of images. I and I, if I'm not mistaken, the PDF should be available online. Otherwise, it's an interesting book to have. Maybe next time I will compile and I will show you those. And I think we can end here. We are almost at the end. This is a good place to end.